Ah yes, Zack Snyder's Rebel Moon, the script that even Disney thought was a steaming pile of diarrhea. But for some reason, Netflix decided it was totally worth it. Yes, that's right audience, Rebel Moon has got to be the biggest pile of utter shite ever made. And it's actually worse than Battlefield Earth, because at least with that, it was funny bad. This, however, is just cringe with absolutely zero redeeming features. So let's get into it audience, let's take a look at the utter disaster that is Rebel Moon. Film, begin, and here we are in space. It's a nice place, right? No, because a mysterious space vagina has just appeared out of literally nowhere and Jeff Bezos' dildo spaceship has just come flying out of it as a voiceover tells us that there are some bad guys in space who are basically the Imperial Army from Star Wars, but definitely not them for legal reasons. And they're all on this ship. Great, so let's immediately head to a fake moon where a very normal and definitely not a female of power lady person is doing farming with a retarded horse. Definitely nothing suspicious about her at all, is there? Wrong, because it turns out that she has only been on this planet for 2 months and is already doing the farm manager, also known as Simp Man. And her entire character profile is that she has problems in her past and she's escaping from them. Oh yes, very original, never seen that one before. But fucking no! Jeff Bezos' dildo spaceship from earlier has just entered the moon's atmosphere out of literally nowhere. And definitely not a female of power is like, I recognise that ship and this is a big uh-oh spaghettios. Better get ringing a bell to alert all those farming guys that we need to have a village meeting about it. So they all meet up discussing possibly selling their farming harvest to the guys on a dildo ship and then possibly opening up long-term trades for their crops. But not everyone agrees on that, especially definitely not a female of power who tells them, look, those guys up there are a bunch of dicks. You cannot negotiate with them. You know, all they're gonna do is raid us and then be on their way. Don't make any deals with them. They cannot be trusted. And that line of dialogue came at the perfect time because here they are. And would you believe it? They're also dressed as space Nazis. Oh yes, the 1940s Germany allegory. Never seen that thinly veiled reference in a film before. Oh, it's so original and not like they pulled the same shite in Star Wars. So they get greeting each other with a really nice hug, which is actually pretty cool. Maybe we can end all wars by simply having a kiss and a cuddle. But now German Man is asking them, have you guys, by any chance, seen any rebels close by? Especially a female of power who keeps attacking our bases. We've been trying to find them for freaking ages, and it's not as easy as just asking one person where they are. No, they respond. We're totally just simple farmers doing simple things like farming. Oh, you're farmers, says the thinly veiled allegory. Isn't that convenient? Can I buy some of your grain off you? No, says the village leader. We don't have any spare food because, our fields are barren or something. How's about a pint of ale instead? So they go inside where definitely not Hitler then asks the Simp Man, do you have any food I can buy by any chance? Well actually yes, he says, we have some food. Not a whole lot, but you can have some of it in it, mate. And well, says the definitely not a 1940s Germany man. That must mean that you're all a bunch of dirty lying scumbags. Because that guy over there told me that you didn't have any, but now you're telling me that you do. So pass me my stick, Gimpy, I'm gonna do a murder on the village man. And as he does so, his wife gets bitch slapped to death with definitely not a lightsaber because that would be copyright infringement, light sword. Fuhrer Man tells those guys, listen, we're gonna be back in 10 weeks to take all of your harvest that you're now gonna grow for us. But while I'm away doing the conflict in space, you know, doing a Star Wars, I'm gonna leave you with a bunch of toxic white males who also have a robot that is not allowed to harm people, which obviously means it will. And boy audience, I sure hope those toxic white males aren't going to do harassment on a female presenting body because that would be entirely predictable and a freaking overused trope these days. But oh no, I think I may have to shat myself because it turns out that band of totally toxic males were evil all along and are now doing harassment. I didn't see that one coming at all. This is so original and doesn't happen in every female-led film these days. But if we head outside, here comes definitely not a female warrior of power who's like, oh no, there's a big oopsie daisy going on in that barn right now. Well, I am like 5'5", the equivalent muscle mass of a garden snail, therefore, I'm gonna have to step in and protest them all to death. Because, audience, you'll never believe this, she was a female warrior of power all along, who then proceeds to take down every single male 3 times the fucking size of her, even though they all have guns and could have shot her at any point. Yes, very strong female lady indeed. About as convincing as that Mexican midget in Terminator Dark Fate who broke that guy's arm as he was about to do an harassment too. Not buying it, mate. Also, isn't this the exact thing that happened in The Witcher Blood Origin, where there were a bunch of toxic white males and they were about to do an harassment until the female of power totally kills them all to death very easily? Get the fuck out of here. But oh no, there's loads of dead bodies, but there's one toxic male left who has a gun to Blondie's head. And she's gonna die. Like, really. Oh wait, never mind guys. That robot just turned up out of literally nowhere and killed him to death before running away. But they clearly said earlier that his programming would let it do that. But it just did. Oh, who could not have seen that one coming? You know, this film was about as predictable as Bill Clinton ending up on the Epstein list. We all knew he was on it, we all said he would be on it, and fuck me, he was on it. But strangely, no one suspected Robot Man Stephen Hawking would be on it too. So now that everyone's dead, they get thinking, boy, all those other guys are gonna come back in like 10 weeks and they're gonna kill us all to death for this. We better go raise an entire army of like 10 people to defend us. Why only 10, asked the Finnish man. Surely we can get thousands. Sadly not, says the female of power. This is all Netflix could afford in their casting budget. So how are they going to do it? Well, she teams up with Simp Man, who once sold some grain to the rebels and might just be able to track them down, which is going to be really hard, right? Because there is no way you can speak to just a couple of people and end up meeting this rebel group who are in open conflict with the space Nazis. That would be retarded. So they get rolling across the country to a camp where the female warrior of power starts revealing a little bit of her backstory. And it turns out she was a soldier in the totally evil space Nazi army. And she fucking loved it. Until totally running away one day because she has feelings. But wait a minute, isn't that the exact same storyline as Finn from The Force Awakens? You know, the black stormtrooper guy in the where is he on that Chinese poster? Oh, there he is, minimalized, because Disney are all about racial justice until they start getting money. Backstory over, and here they are entering a city that for some reason is made out of wood and has guards posted on the walls, when clearly spaceships can enter from above. What the hell is the point in the wall then? Who cares? It's not like this film makes any sense anyway. So they head to a saloon at the precise time a bunch of bounty hunters are arresting the very guy they need to talk to. Oh man, how unlucky that this all happened at the precise time that they arrived. But there may still be some information that they can get. So they head inside and, would you believe it audience, it's a complete rip-off of the bar scene in A New Hope. They go up to the bar and order a drink from the candelabra, while talking very loudly about how they want to find the rebels. But fucking no! It's a bit of an unexpected issue here, guys. A homosexual alien man has just appeared out of nowhere and is trying to do the sex on Simp Man, while also performing a harassment. But female of power ain't having her bitch get touched up by the local LGTV, so stubbornly protests him with utter violence. Yes, the guy who's twice the size of her just got his bitch ass handed to himself. And then thrown across the room. Oh, I'm dying of cringe. So with the local LGTV gone, female of power calls loudly to the room. Hey everybody, I'm looking for the totally secretive rebel guys. Can someone tell me where I can find General Titus? You know, the ex-rebel guy who knows exactly where to find them. Oh yeah, I know where he is, says the alien gimp man. He's on the planet Pollux. You can't miss it, it's just down the road on the left. But no! The LGTV has just returned with some allies and they now have guns and looking pretty mean. Hey LGTV man, says the 5'5" female of power. I'm gonna give you one chance to just turn around and walk away. Because remember audience, she's a fucking hard nut with the body mass index of like 1. And well, they all start shooting at her, but for some reason, miss every single shot and she kills them all to utter death single-handedly. While Simp Man is getting his ass beaten by the LGTV. Metaphorically, of course, until the female of power comes and saves him because he's a little bitch. But that act of bigotry has left her open to a headshot from behind until a very mysterious hairbun Irishman saves the day and tells them that he can help them find the rebels. An inebriated Irish man in a bar with a man bun who just turned up out of nowhere. Now, I don't want to incur the wrath of the Irish here, because seriously don't incur their wrath, but I would rather trust Rishi Sunak, the British economy, than a drunken top-knotted Irish bloke down the pub who I've never met before. But for some reason, they do, which I'm sure will have zero repercussions later. So they fly off where Irishman says, "Hey guys, before we go to Pollux, I really need to make a quick stop to another planet because of some kind of reason." So they go to this very mysterious planet where he gets talking to a comically retarded redneck man who is another man chained in a workshop. So they get asking the slave man, "Hey, we don't like the 1940s Germany men. Do you like them?" No, he says. "Great," says the female of power. "Would you like to join me in actively rebelling against the space Germans, which I'm currently stating in front of people who I have never met before?" "Well, sure," he replies, "but there is a little bit of an issue because I am a slave and I'm not allowed to leave." But don't worry, audience, comically cliched redneck man tells them, "If slave man can tame my buckbeak, you know, the giant bird I have in the yard, you can have him for free. But if not, then I'm going to enslave all of you." "Yeah, okay," they reply. "We will put our entire freedom on the line for a bloke we have just met." And who would have guessed it? Zack Snyder just full on ripped off Harry Potter. Yes, that's right. Bow before you approach the buckbeak, Harry, and gently ask his permission. And hey, there's Hermione in the background about use the time turner. Better go get studying for those owls, innit? So Slave Man gets off on the back of Buckbeak and flies off, and it's now completely tamed. Well, that was very easy and also completely fucking pointless. So they're completely free to go, but as they do, comically cliched redneck man doesn't do a respect to Buckbeak before climbing on its back and then gets eaten alive. Well, didn't expect that to happen at all. I mean, surely Zack Snyder watched the part where Draco Malfoy failed to give the respect and then got his arm bitten. The female of power is proper impressed with the top-knot Irish man and says, "Hey bro, it's really cool that you know people. Is there anybody else we can get to join us before meeting up with the rebels?" "Why actually yes," he says. "It's an Asian lady wearing a traditional Korean hat and she uses swords." "Ah yes, the stereotypical Asian representation in films. You know, every Asian that has a sword with some kick-ass martial arts skills. Kind of a little hypocritical, because if you start bringing up FBI statistics in a different setting, stereotypes are for some reason no longer okay. Anyway, they get asking her, "Hey Asian lady, can you please join us in our fight against the totally evil Germans?" Yeah, sure, she says. "But before I do, let me kill this giant retarded spider who has stolen someone's kid because it's pissed off that its habitat is being destroyed by mining." So they get into a big old fight and Asian sword lady kills it to death with definitely not a lightsaber light sword. But I will give one credit to the Snyder boy, because at least these light swords actually kill people, unlike the Disney lightsabers. So they get to the planet Pollux, where General Titus, the man they were looking for, is now a down and out drunk hobo, who they also found immediately within the city. Wow, how unbelievably easy that was. Just turn up and hey, there he is. Anyway, female of power gets asking him, "Hey Titus, do you want to join my crew of like 5 people to fight against the totally evil space Germans?" "No," he replies. "I'm a down and out loser. I have problems, bro. I got a bunch of people killed to death and now I have no honor." "Oh," replies the female of power, "how's about I give you this really rousing speech? If you join us, then you can regain your honor." "Ah, great," he responds. "That's all the prep talk I needed, and I'm now totally in." So audience, after all that hard work of getting like 3 people, they've now landed on the rebel planet very easily. Man, if it was that simple to find them, how the fuck have the space Nazis not done so already? I mean, all you have to do is ask a random dildo down a pub like, "Hey, do you know where the rebel guys are?" And they'll be like, "Yeah, sure, it's just down the road, mate, on the left." Get the fuck out of here. Anyway, here comes the totally cool rebel leaders to greet them, who are without a doubt the most stunning and brave brother-sister duo I've ever seen, where the female of power gets telling them, "Hey guys, do you fancy joining our totally inclusive band of misfits who are going to defend the moon village from evil space Nazis? You know, be a rebel moon and all that." No, says the female of unbelievable power. "Those evil Germans are scary as hell." "You little bitch," reads the female of power. "People are going to die because you won't help us, and for some reason we can't just move out the fucking village for like a month, wait for the space Germans to turn up, then let them get bored so they leave, and then we move back again. And that was very convincing because now the stunning and brave man tells them, I will fight against those totally evil guys. And if anybody in the crowd wants to come with me, step forward now. I will fight them, says the androgynous they them. And that opened the floodgates to a whopping 12 other people to join them. So they get flying back to the farm where the Irish man tells the female of power, you know, before this I was totally an evil guy doing evil things like, I don't know, stealing and all that. But the power of your stunning and brave makes me want to do the honourable thing. I will fight with you against those totally far-right extremists. But before we do, I just need to sell some stuff from the cargo bay, so I'll need to stop off by a trading post. Oh, okay, says the female of power. But boy, I sure hope this isn't a double cross and you're actually a complete and utter dick like that guy from The Last Jedi who double crossed Finn and Asian lady to those other space Nazis, because if you do, that's yet another copyright infringement. So they get heading to a trade depot and it's all going very swimmingly. Happy people offloading a bunch of cargo. But fucking no! Here comes the space Nazis out of bloody nowhere and they're blowing up a bunch of the rebel ships. And all those totally not suspicious cargo boxes were actually a bunch of arresting robots the entire time, just like the guy who got caught outside of that saloon bar. So that means it was a double cross all along. Who would have thought blindly trusting a guy they just met in the bar would end up being their downfall? And they are completely fucked. I mean, like, massively fucked, because here comes the space Germans. And there's not a single plot convenience on this planet that can save them. Top-knot Irishman tells the Germans, if we're going to transport these guys to space prison, instead of just killing them right here, right now and getting the issue over and done with, we should paralyze them first. Which is actually a pretty smart thing to do. So for some reason, instead of doing it himself, he gives the paralyzing gun to Simp Man and then orders him to do the paralyzing. But it turns out, that's not just a gun, it also doubles as the unlocking mechanism for the arresting robot thingies. And coloured me a fucking retard because Simp Man just unlocked a female of power instead of paralysing her. And even though completely surrounded by fucking soldiers with guns, she disarms one of them and then straight away starts killing everyone who for some reason can't kill her or all of the captives right in front of them who are being released. What a completely fucking stupid film this is. And even worsier, even Disney knew it was a bunch of crap, and those guys are trash. Anyway, everyone's killing everyone, including the androgynous they them. But oh no guys, now it's face-off time between the 1940s Germany man and the female of power. Who could have guessed this would have been the final boss fight? So let's quickly recap. This is what he looks like without his top on. And this is what she looks like with a top on. Seems that he is in pretty damn good shape, right? Well, you'll be wrong, audience. Dead wrong with AIDS. Because the female of power is so stunning and brave, she beats the utter fuck out of him and then kicks him off the floating platform so he's totally dead. No chance of coming back. That's a big ass fall right there. He is dead. So they escape very easily, and with only one guy dying to return to the rebel moon ready to fight those totally evil German guys in the next film that will no doubt be cancelled. Oh, and also, there's that robot from earlier for some reason that everybody kind of forgot about. But before we end this bucket of diarrhea, let's go check in on the totally evil space Nazis. Oh, I see they have recovered the body of fake Hitler. Surely he's dead, right? I mean, that's a big drop, and he's definitely, no, he's not dead, because he's actually a robot hybrid or something, and can speak to the king with mind magic. That's retarded. Film finish. So okay, let's take some positives from this film. Moving on, the negatives. Well, this movie exists. I mean, I have watched a lot of trash. It is the purpose of this channel after all, and I have always found some kind of enjoyment from them because even though they're bad, they are entertaining. This, however, was so bad I now have mega AIDS. But then again, what the hell do you expect from Netflix? Big shout out to my Patreon boys and guys. Stephen P, Taylor J, Bill Blake, Andy Ward, ConspiracyQuery.net, the wonderful Mr. Wolf, Hetzer J, and of course, the Mighty Pen.
Subscribe button.